to say all of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Like, who are you?
Oh my God.
Are you Disney? What is the premise? What is the story
It's a
of
love story. So your character, Jonathan, is new. How does he fit into the story?
All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows?
Who the hell are
This is not like the traditional Prince Charming and
Tell
tights.
by the hair.
Yeah, the hair, he's kind of scruffy. He has a hoodie.
Last week was a very big week, objectively a huge week. We had quite a few announcements as a first live-action film, which is Snow White and the Evil Queen. And that's me, I'm Snow White, which is so fun.
Oh, honey, it's getting messy behind the fairy tale curtains. Because Andrew Burnap, yes, the man who played Jonathan in Disney's live-action Snow White, just broke the silence in a way that's got fans doing double takes and executives probably punching the air. Word on the street? He's pointing the finger directly at Rachel Zegler for all the wild changes that flip the classic story upside down. And let's be clear, this isn't just shade. This is a full-blown Hollywood mic drop. The film was already flopping at the box office like a pancake with no syrup. And now the blame game has officially started. Andrew's alleged confession is making it loud and clear. The creative mess that left fans furious and critics gagging, he says Rachel had everything to do with it.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie. Oh my God.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
I wanted my money back. It was very disappointing.
Who wants a movie about true love? What kind of woman do we want out there seeking true love, Eliana? It's the outrage.
Now remember, this film was supposed to be Disney's modern feminist twist. Rachel Zegler as Snow White, Andrew Burnap as Jonathan, a character no one even knew existed before this movie. They scrapped the original 1937 magic in favor of some updated narrative that fans never asked for. And according to Andrew's alleged comments, that change wasn't Disney's alone. He claims Rachel Zegler herself heavily influenced those story decisions. Baby, she didn't just act in the film, she was shaping it like she owned the studio. And that's where it all started unraveling.
Rachel Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged.
The new Disney boss babe, who is Rachel Zegler, the inverse of...
It's got extra musical numbers that are incredibly unnecessary that really add to that runtime. And let me go ahead and let you know that they're absolutely f***ing atrocious.
And you know the saying, go woke, get broke, and Disney's going to lose money on this movie. And I believe it only made less than $1 million.
Controversy in Snow White. The dwarves have been eliminated in the live action.
Yeah.
Now it's Snow White and the 7 magical beings.
Wait, it's 7 and the magical beings?
Yeah,
They won't even
7
say
magical
and the 7
beings.
dwarves?
No, because they're not dwarves. For right now, that's the only jobs that are there.
Let's talk about Rachel for a minute. Because if you've seen the headlines, you already know the disaster didn't stop with the script. Rachel had been dragging the original Snow White since day one. She called it weird, mocked Prince Charming, said he gave stalker energy. Girl, who says that about a story that literally launched the Disney princess empire? The internet exploded. Was she hired to honor the legacy or cancel it? That's the question fans started screaming. And no matter where you stood, one thing became clear. This remake wasn't about storytelling anymore. It was about Rachel.
Lines that they say, like magic mirror on the wall. It was a lot of fun. Broke out with this news, and I'm very, very, very excited and looking forward.
So she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
It's awful, generic. Never mind that the lyrics make no sense at all. All you have to do to make your dream come true is let it echo. Is it like on a metaphor?
Into this, the first villain Disney ever had. It's really getting myself into this big crown.
And Rachel, she wasn't holding back at all. Every red carpet, every press junket, she turned into a stage for hot takes and controversy. Instead of hyping up the magic, she kept slamming the original, the movie she was literally the face of. She said Snow White needed fixing, that the classic story was outdated, that the prince had to go, and while some fans tried to defend her at first, chill, it got real exhausting, real fast.
Rachel Zegler, like so many kids raised on TikTok, she's all for infantada is the only global solution.
Disney deleted Someday My Prince Will Come and made a modernized feminist alternative.
They say all you have to do to make your wish come true is let it echo, 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 echo.
So apparently, according to them and according to the writers of Snow White, women can't even want to be in love anymore.
I sat through the whole thing. This was really bad. It was extremely leftist on every political dimension. Racial politics, sexual politics, class politics, regime politics. Its narrative was cowardly. It was just off.
Rachel made it crystal clear she thought the original was beneath her. And once fans picked up on that attitude, oh, it was over. Because there's one thing Disney lovers don't play about, and that's legacy. They grew up on this stuff. They cried to it, dressed up like it. They didn't need some fresh-faced actress rolling her eyes at the very magic she was cashing checks for. So the backlash came, and it came hard.
This is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive.
Queen, playing the evil queen. It was pretty amazing.
They spent $170 million to make the thing, and it had the lowest opening, under $50 million, of any of these live-action Disney remakes that they've ever had.
And instead of taking the L gracefully, Rachel clapped back. Repeatedly. Every time someone criticized the movie, she threw on a sarcastic tweet. Every time someone mentioned the backlash, she'd get defensive, post snarky comments, and double down. People weren't just upset about the film anymore, they were upset about her.
Hardcore.
They're petrified of some kind of backlash.
Part of the first, fairy tale ever told.
Have they ever thought about maybe like a little bit of vulnerability study, opposition research, that sort of thing, before you go and hire some Zoomer who's a lunatic?
Now, I'm guessing that she's not married. I'm guessing that she doesn't have kids. The movie is a complete disaster, by the way.
No apologies, no reflection, just more gas on the fire. Oh, and let's not forget those political rants she kept sprinkling in for extra flavor. Whether you agreed or not, the timing was a mess. Fans came for a fairy tale. Instead, they got Rachel's TED Talk. It was a PR nightmare. She could have been Disney's next Cinderella. Instead, she walked herself into career chaos. And what made it worse? People started whispering behind the scenes. Words like unprofessional, PR liability, casting risk. Hollywood might smile on Instagram, but behind closed doors, the knives come out. Let's not sugarcoat it. Rachel Zegler didn't just make headlines, she became the headline. And not in the way Disney hoped. The movie was supposed to be a celebration, a fresh spin. But instead, it turned into a media circus. And at the center of that storm, Rachel. Rolling her eyes, dragging the classic, and handing internet trolls every single weapon they needed. The more she spoke, the louder the backlash grew. And the louder it got, the faster Hollywood started backing away. Studios talk, casting directors whisper, and behind those casting tables, the phrase, too much drama, is the kiss of death. Rachel went from rising star to industry cautionary tale before the opening credits even rolled. Now let's talk about Disney's side of the disaster. This wasn't some tiny indie flick. This was supposed to be the Disney reboot of the decade, a princess relaunch, a billion-dollar machine. But instead, the reviews were brutal. The vibes, even worse. Rachel wasn't just seen as out of touch, she became the face of everything fans hated about the remake. Instead of that warm, nostalgic glow, audiences were left with eye rolls, clapbacks, and a Snow White that didn't feel like Snow White at all. And Disney reportedly panicked. Internally, execs were stunned by just how bad things got. What should have been a fairy tale release became an emergency PR triage. They threw money at it, tried to pivot the marketing, but it was too late. The story wasn't about Snow White anymore. It was about Rachel versus the world. And spoiler alert, she lost that war. Opening weekend, disastrous. Fans didn't show, families didn't show, theaters were practically empty. It tanked hard. And Disney, who had sunk over $200 million, 0 cents into production, marketing, and reshoots, they were staring down what insiders now call one of the biggest bombs in Disney history. Not since John Carter or The Lone Ranger has the House of Mouse taken such a brutal hit. But here's the gag. Those movies didn't come with beloved legacy IP. Snow White did. And that made the fall even worse. Disney thought nostalgia would save the day. But nostalgia only works when you honor it. And Rachel, she didn't just ignore the legacy, she mocked it. And fans, they never forgave her. Parents weren't buying the dolls. Halloween costume sales flatlined. Merchandise sitting on shelves like forgotten clearance bins. It wasn't just a flop, it was a full-on rejection. Disney tried to spin it, but no amount of PR magic could cover up the fact that this remake didn't just underperform, it imploded. And the fallout? Oh, it's not over. Because Rachel's next project, her big Broadway moment in Nevada, yeah, about that. Let's just say it didn't go the way she thought it would. Word on the street? Empty seats, quiet halls, awkward silence. This was supposed to be her comeback, her reset, her redemption arc. Instead, it became yet another punchline. Insiders started whispering about the Zegler effect, a warning that attaching her name to a project was now seen as a financial risk. And in Broadway, where every seat matters, that's a death sentence. Producers started backing off. Theater insiders got nervous. And the worst part? The same Rachel who once had Hollywood eating out of the palm of her hand was now the name they were actively avoiding. And let's be real, nobody wants to cast someone who brings viral controversy before the trailer even drops. We're talking about a girl who managed to upset fans, Disney purists, casual moviegoers, political Twitter, and Broadway crowds all in the same year. That's not a PR problem, that's a career meltdown. And now with Andrew Burnap allegedly confirming what fans always suspected, that Rachel was behind the storyline shifts, well, it's not just speculation anymore, it's receipts. She wasn't just the face of the movie, she was the one pulling strings behind the scenes. And that's what stings the most. Because when you lead a movie that tanks this hard, you hope at least it wasn't your fault. But now, even that defense is gone. Rachel pushed for changes, she bashed the original, she dragged the prince, and the fans? They walked away. Box office numbers don't lie. And neither does the silence from casting agents, producers, and execs who've all suddenly stopped answering her calls. Disney thought they were launching a new era. Instead, they launched a warning. Don't mess with a classic. Don't let your star hijack the story. And definitely don't let that star become the villain before the movie even drops. Rachel Zegler may have been the heroine on screen, but in real life, she became the cautionary tale. And if Hollywood's watching, they're taking notes. Because the next reboot, it's not coming with a soapbox. It's coming with a script that honors what came before. And maybe, just maybe, an actress who knows how to stay out of her own way.